Welcome back to Face the Nation. I'm John Dickerson. Joining me now is Republican presidential candidate and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. So you heard Secretary Clinton. What did you think?
You know, I thought one of the most interesting parts of the discussion was about the refugee crisis. And I think, frankly, that Hillary Clinton bears some of the responsibility for the crisis. Thomas Friedman wrote an op-ed about a couple weeks ago, saying that basically Iran and Saudi Arabia have been arsonists, throwing gasoline on the flames there. But in a way, so is Hillary Clinton's policy of putting arms into that situation. They say, oh, we're going to give them to the good people. But it really wasn't possible, I think, to find the good people. And so many of the people were al-Qaeda, al-Nusra, and some of these people became ISIS. So it was really a bad idea, and continues to be a bad idea, to arm the allies of ISIS, to arm the allies of al-Qaeda.
So what would you do in this situation?
Well, you know, you had bad people on both sides. I mean, Assad is a person who gassed his own people, but on the other side you have really the remnants of the people who attacked us, or people with a similar ideology to al-Qaeda who attacked us. So really arming either of the sides was a mistake. But there are people caught in the middle. There are 2 million Christians in Syria, and they're caught in the middle. And if you ask them who they would rather have, Assad or ISIS, they'll all tell you Assad. And even though as bad as he is, Christians feel a little safer under Assad than they do under ISIS. But we shouldn't do anything to push back Assad or to bomb Assad or to defeat Assad, because really what that does is it opens a space for ISIS.
What did you think about the Secretary's idea of 65,000 Syrian refugees coming into the United States?
You know, my first thought is that, you know, some of the arsonists should accept some of the refugees. Saudi Arabia doesn't appear to be willing to take any. Iran should be taking some. So if they're Shiite Muslims and Saudi Arabia won't take them, why would not Iran want to accept them? And these are the people who have been stoking the flames over there. Bahrain, Qatar, all the people pouring arms into there, all these rich sheikdoms, why aren't they taking refugees?
What about the argument that the United States, when it does this kind of thing, takes in refugees and plays a leading role in the world, as it did after the Vietnam War with the Vietnam boat people, that's a way in which, with soft power, the United States gets out of situations it finds it's in that are more warlike, which is...
Well, I have a great deal of sympathy, obviously, for the people who are displaced, and you can't see the pictures of that, you know, young boy that drowned over there and not have a great deal of sympathy. There are private groups trying to bring people over here. There's a Project Nazarene trying to bring Christians out of the Middle East and bring them to our country. But I think we do have to be a little bit wary. I mean, we brought 65,000 from Iraq after the Iraq War. And part of me says, well, we won the war. Why wouldn't the people who are pro-West, why wouldn't we have wanted them to stay in Iraq and help rebuild the country? Why would we take out 65,000 of the best people? In this situation, there's not really a choice. Those 65,000 people, or hundreds of thousands of people, are stranded. But at the same time, I think we have to go to first causes as to what caused it in the first place, and try not to, I mean, at least learn from the experience and not throw gasoline on these wars and try to, but what to do in the immediate aftermath. I mean, some of the 65,000 that came from Iraq actually were trying to buy Stinger missiles in my hometown in Kentucky. So we do have to be wary of some of the threat that comes from mass migration.
And that's what this gentleman who spoke at Trump's rally and talked about the president being Muslim, and you know, that's what he was talking about, is the danger from that. Should Donald Trump have said anything?
Well, I don't think, we shouldn't question the president's faith, and I think that's kind of crazy, and if someone does, we should, I think, rebuke that. But getting back to sort of this mass migration, there was an article about some of the people coming in, and they listed a 19-year-old boy from Afghanistan, and his only paperwork was a Hungarian political asylum. He had no other paperwork, no passport. So I think it would be foolish to say there's no danger, I mean, from mass migration, and so we need to be very wary of that. And I think people who visit our country on student visas, I'm not for ending it, but I am for really understanding who's coming to visit our country before they come.